And at this point, when you were, in your late teens to, 20 or so, were you active when it comes to human rights or politically in any way? Were you active?
I actually wasn't at all. My first 2 year in the league, all I cared about was just playing basketball, having fun with my teammates, trying to win games, and it all started back in my third year, back in 2013. That was the first time I started to pay attention about what's going on around the world more.
Mm-hmm. And why? Because obviously, we're talking to you today about the stance you've taken on China because it's so unusual. We've been covering it for a long time as news people saying, why don't people like LeBron James speak up? And I had Mark Cuban on my show when I first launched it a year ago, and I pressed him, why don't you speak up? You're so big on BLM. What about the human rights abuses in China, where you take a lot of money from? And no one does. So it's so unusual that to hear you, it was like, wait, I don't follow sports. Forgive me, Anna. So I was like, who is this guy? What's he saying? Oh my God, this is so unusual. So what led you to China as a cause?
I remember, when I was 9 years old, my mom told me that, stand up for the things that you believe and stand up things for right, even if it means pretty much like sacrificing everything you have. After that moment, I was just standing up for the right things, everything, every time. Back in 2013, there was a corruption scandal happened in Turkey, and a Turkish president and his family was involved in it. And that was the first time I said something because I know what he started to put people in jail, police, judges, and prosecutors. And I was like, this is just not right. And obviously, I said something, and because of the platform, it became a big conversation here in the United States and Turkey. And I was like, wow, even one word, my one sentence can make this much of an impact. So from now on, I'm going to start paying attention about like what's going on around the world more. So I started to, study about, Turkey, relationship between Turkey and America, foreign policy and everything. And I remember my teammates were going out to eat and hang out and party and stuff. I was just going back home and study.
That's smart. So, but Turkey's not so big on your messaging or on free speech in general. And as I understand it, how many arrest warrants have they issued for you now?
The last 4 years, I got 10 of them.
10. Excellent.
Yep.
So you won't be going home anytime soon.
Definitely not.
But this is your home now. You've chosen to live here, and you've actually chosen, as we said at the top, to become an American citizen. So why was that important to you?
To me, it was very important because I remember the day I stepped in this country back in 2009. This was my dream, to become a citizen. And obviously, I talk about this Turkish issue so much, they revoked my passport, put my name on Interpol list. So I didn't have a home. I was a person who was stateless, and, last time I was back at home, it was back in 2015. And that was the last time I saw my family. So American people opened their arm and gave me a warm welcome from day one. They gave me the opportunity to become myself. They gave me the opportunity to become one of the best, playing the best league in the world. So I was very blessed to be in this situation. So I was like, I think the best thing I can do right now is just become a part of this greatest nation.
And you actually changed your last name, right? Did you keep Kanter at all? Is that still in there, or is it just Enes Freedom now?
Well, the Kanter, obviously, I did not disrespect. I didn't want to disrespect my family. So I did keep Kanter and made it my middle name. But the reason I picked Freedom is actually a funny story because first time I came to America back in 2009, one of my teammates was criticizing the president. And I got so scared for him. I was like, dude, what are you doing? They're going to put you in jail. He turned around and said, listen, this is not America. This is not Turkey. This is America. You have a freedom. And I was very shocked, and then the more I lived here, I learned about obviously freedom of speech, religion, expression, freedom of press. And I saw a lot of, democracy and everything. So for me, it was very, I was just very shocked to learn about all this stuff, and I wanted to make that word part of me. So that's why for me, it was very important to add freedom. I wanted to carry that word everywhere I go.
you probably know that there's a push, especially on college campuses now, to erode that freedom, the freedom of speech. You can't say this, you can't say that. Words are violence. You know, certain opinions should not be offered. Certain speakers should not be allowed on campus. It never used to be this way. This is a relatively new phenomenon. I've spoken out against it. Many have, because we're more old school, believing in the First Amendment. But as somebody who's got your interesting background and perspective, what do you make of what's happening now with that?
I mean, I don't know enough about the situation, but I think, like the First Amendment is the greatest amendment, freedom of speech. And obviously, I mean, people should feel very blessed because just because of the tweets you put out there, or just because of the speeches that you talk, you're not going to be put in jails. So I think it is important for people to speak their mind, because that is going to bring the change. People need to wake up and speak up about, issues are not just happening in America, but all over the world. So it is important to use that amendment.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And it's worth fighting for. It's worth fighting for, even if people are going to say things to you that you might not like to hear. Either way. Okay, so you're a true believer. I know you love the country. The converts always are, right? Whether it's religion or citizenship, they're the truest believers. So you take a look at what's happening in China and find it very disturbing, I'm sure for a number of reasons. I understand you're Muslim.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And what's happening to the Chinese minorities, the Muslims there, the Uyghurs, is horrific. I mean, it's truly an ethnic cleansing underway right there. Is that what caught your interest? Is that why this became important to you?
I remember doing a basketball camp this summer, and I was taking a picture with the kids, and one of the parents, turned around and said, "How can you call yourself a human rights activist when your Muslim brothers and sisters are in concentration camps and getting tortured and raped every day?" I was shocked. I turned around to that parent. I was like, "I promise you, I'm going to get back to you." I remember I had so much things scheduled that day. I canceled everything. I went back to my hotel and I started to study and research about what's going on. And the more I read, the more I was ashamed with myself, because I was like, I could not believe the last 10 years I was just blindly was focusing on only one topic, and it was Turkey. And I was like, I'm going to do everything I can to just change that, And, I started to do research, and the more research I have done, I saw what Tibetans going through, what Uyghurs people going through, what Hong Kongers are going through, what Taiwanese are going through, what Mongolians are going through. So it did break my heart. And I was like, I don't know how many years that I got left in the league, but from now on, I'm going to do everything I can to bring some real change, because many people are very, very scared. So I was like, you know what? I remember what my mom told me when I was 9 years old. I'm just going to do what I can to help those people.